It is 11 a.m. Welcome to commission meeting. First thing I'd like to do is excuse Commissioner Horrocks. He's gone this week. With that, open up the commission meeting. We're here in the commission chambers. It's May 16th, 2022 at 11 a.m. We'll start out today with a prayer from Jabin Carter and then the pledge from Becky Richards.
Dear Lord, just thank you for this day, and we thank you for the sunshine and all of you blessed us with, Father. And Lord, I just want to lift up a special prayer to all those who are in law enforcement and our firefighters and our first responders. Lord, I just pray that you protect them, Lord, keep them safe while they're out there doing their duties, and just keep them out of harm's way. Lord, I just pray that you're with us today in this building, in this room. Just let all those who present today and who speak, just give them wisdom and guidance, and just let everything we say and do honor you, Jesus. And we just pray all this in your name.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I forgot to mention, if you would, silence your phones or turn them off if you would. I'd appreciate it. And thank you, Becky, and thank you, Jabin, for your doing that. Start out with a report of warrants and review
Minutes.
of counters. What's that? Oh, yeah, I missed that one. Sorry. Approval of minutes for May 9th, 2022.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the minutes of a regular meeting of May 9th, 2022.
Okay, I'll second that. We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed. Okay, now we have the report of warrants and review of countersignatures, list of claims.
There we go. Commissioners, I have warrants today from May 13th, the amount of $742,458.19. There's a few here. We paid for the land we bought by Moonshine Arch, $12,147. We also have our monthly health insurance here, and we have also paid our annual contribution to Northeast Counseling. Them are the big ones that was
Those are
there,
the
and
bigger
out of the ordinary ones on them.
Okay.
With that also, Commissioners, there is there are no claims, but there was one check that was issued for the incorrect amount, just a clerical error. But I have no ability to create, modify, or delete the entry, so we have printed the check, we have pulled the check, we will void it and put it back through for processing. And I want to also make a comment that these warrants were not created in the clerk auditor's office in my version of as provided specifically in the code.
Okay. All right. So we don't need a motion on that because we had no certified list of claims. So thank you, Mike. Cemetery certificate. 2
cemetery certificates, State Commissioners. I'm going to slaughter this first name on this one. It's the Burgoyes Family Trust, Bourgeois. This is in the Rock Point Cemetery, Phase 2, Block 336, Lot C, spaces 9 through 15. Moving the Vernal Memorial Park, James Blair Johnson, Alvarita Johnson, Brian James Johnson, joint tenants, Lot 205, spaces 24 through 28. And that's all the cemetery certificates.
Okay. Entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the cemetery certificates as presented.
Okay, I'll second that. We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed. Thank you. Thanks, Mike. Tax matters today. None. Assessor's office has one.
Danette Brooks, the Uintah County Assessor's Office is requesting a refund of the county assess fee for Roy G. Dixon at 410 West, 2500 South, Vernal, Utah, 84078, Task District Number 2, in the amount of $110. He renewed his registration and then traded the vehicle in prior to the expiration of the prior registration's expiration date. The state has already issued their portion of the refund.
Okay. Any questions? Entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the refund of $110 for overpaid registration as presented.
Okay, I'll second that. We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed. No other tax matters today? Business licenses.
Good morning, Gabby Hawks Blackburn with Community Development. We just have one home-based business today. It is Bar v. Bar Enterprises. It's
Bar B.
V, like
V.
the letter V, Bar Enterprises. It's located at 8067 West Red Cloud Loop Road. So that's where the home is, and the home-based office will be. And then their business is actually like, they're gonna mark a trail and sell like maps so that people can do self-guided tours to the petroglyphs. Let's see, those are located at 6264 North McConkey Road, serial number 36556. So they don't have like a building or anything there. The building will be at this 8067 West. So they just have to follow all home-based business rules and regulations for their conditions.
Okay. Any further discussion?
Oh, sorry, I should note that this property is split zone. So part of it is in the A1D dry fork overlay zone, and part of it is in the Ashley Springs protection zone.
No special permits or anything needed for that?
No, I just wanted to note it in case the zoning changes later.
Okay. Okay, I entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the home-based business for Bar v. Bar Enterprises with the understanding that they abide by all home-based business rules.
Okay, I'll second that. So we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed.
Thanks.
Thank you. Next would be the bid opening for financial and human capital management.
Commissioners, looks like we have 5 bids on that. I'll start opening them up. And I don't know how, if we want to read these in by price. I don't know how it's going to be to dig through these to find them.
Probably
These
when you
were all
see 'em.
received on time. This first one is from Polaris, P-E-L-O-R-U-S Methods out of Orem, Utah.
Mr. Chair, I'm wondering if, while Mike is looking through that, because it's a multifaceted
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just identify
proposal,
who
I
they
wonder if
are.
we just identify who it is, that they were received on time.
And I'm good with
And
that.
then we can
And
send
then
it
we're going to
to,
refer it to
Yeah.
committee.
because I'm assuming there's going to be different price points based off of what package we're wanting to get or anything, something like that. So without there being confusion on what's listed in the meeting because we missed maybe a page 5,
Right.
you know,
Okay.
Because I did
Five
find
things
one here,
back.
does show $220,000. And that could be over looks like it could be a 1 to 5 year price on that one. So there's a lot of variables in that one. So,
Seems like that'd be appropriate in this instance, just
Yeah.
read it into the record on who we received them from, and then,
and that's
agree.
Polaris Methods, Inc.
Because the price is going to come out always.
Yeah. Next one looks like it's from Cassell, Caselle. They're out of Provo. And it's really good and sealed.
Thanks for the text. Yeah.
Next one is, it's like ClearGov out of Maynard, Massachusetts.
What was that again? Clear?
Clear, Clear, capital Gov.
And from Brainerd or Maynard?
Maynard, Maynardma.
Why Mike's open that, just everybody keep in mind, this week is the Law Enforcement Appreciation Week. Make sure that you, if you see them, thank them for all they do for us in our community.
Next one is Tyler Technologies out of Yarmouth, Minnesota. Yarmouth. ME, is that Maine?
Maine.
Maine. Next one is ADP, Always Designed for People. I'm not sure where they're out of. Let me keep opening here. Roseland, New Jersey. So with that, Commissioners, as an elected official, I would like to say that we want to be involved in this process, since we had very limited involvement in bidding of this out. And since this is a product that the elected officials will be using in our offices, we definitely want to be involved in this. This is not needed, just want to make that for the record. That's all the bids.
Mike, would you state that's in your opinion, that it's not needed?
That's in my opinion, stated also from, I have visited with State Auditor's Office.
I don't care about
I know,
who stated with.
just saying,
Just-
you guys.
that's it, that's it.
Okay,
The
in my
meeting-
opinion, this is a
we're good.
waste of money.
We're good. If If you want to go back to law school and become a attorney and put
Not
your
giving
opinion
legal
out, you
opinion on
can.
this, I'm just saying this is a waste of money.
Well, we'll see how that is, so. Next item would be an amendment to the predator control grant.
Morning, Commissioners. Zeke Atwood, Uintah County Grants Office. I received in my email from the State of Utah an amendment to our predator control grant. We currently have a grant with them for $4,200. It looks like they had some excess funds from other counties that didn't spend it, so they reallocated it to landowners who had requested the additional funding. So with that, our original contract was $4,200. They've added $1,710 for a total of $5,910
$1,700.
and $10 even.
Okay. Have any other further questions on that, John? You've looked at it?
Yes, my office has looked at it, and it's pretty standard from prior years, so.
Okay. Have any further questions? Entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the acceptance of this additional $1,710 to the annual predator control grant, including authorization of signature.
Okay, I'll second that. We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed.
Thank you. I think that was sent, they sent it to me for electronic signature, and then I forwarded it to you, Bart. So you should have it in your inbox.
Okay, I'll
If
look and
not,
see.
let me know. Thanks.
Next item, special needs registry and memorandum of understanding.
Heidi Lundberg, Uintah County Emergency Management. This is just an updated MOU with the State Division of Emergency Management. Our last MOU was signed in 2013, so we're just renewing that memorandum of understanding.
Okay. John, have you looked at it?
Can we just get a little background of what this particular MOU
Yeah.
accomplishes? Just
So-
for the record on this one.
Right. So this is with the State Division of Emergency Management. They have a special needs registry that we can have access to. So once we agree to this MOU, then we can have access. Certain people can have access to that. Authorized individuals will be able to have access to that registry for, like if we had evacuations and needed to know if there were certain individuals that needed extra help and things like that.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to highlight, is that this is so we can better respond to those who
Correct.
are disabled in some way, need special assistance in
Right.
some way, that law enforcement would be able to know, or fire would know, so that they could provide that extra care to that individual or that particular household if we had an emergency.
Right.
But, and then also to stress that that information is not open to the public.
Correct. It is.
But that helps on our end in the case of an emergency.
Right. So there's only 3 allowed individuals per county to have access to that. So.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the updated MOU with the State Division of Emergency Management on the special need registry as presented by Heidi, including authorization of signature.
Okay, I'll second that. We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed. Thanks, Heidi. Next item on the agenda is discussion of Vernal City utility liens and Haven Estates surplus properties.
Commissioners, we've had a few questions on these 2 lots in Haven Estates. They are on a surplus sale right now, and it will close not this Thursday, but the next Thursday, I believe it is. But there's 2 liens on these from Vernal City. They're utility liens. One's for power, and one is for their sidewalk and curb and gutter. Last year, when we put these up in our tax sale of surplus properties, they did not sell, and there was an understanding at that time that any proceeds we received from this, we would pay these loans off. And I wanted to clarify that we're looking at the same thing on these before it's sent to unclaimed properties. We will collect our fees, we'll collect the back taxes, and then anything left will go to pay these off. And if they sell at fair market value, which they have to according to the code, there will be, I don't want to say sufficient, there will be enough money there to pay these liens, pay the back taxes and the fees, and then there will be a small amount go to unclaimed properties. So I just want to make sure that we're all on the same page so we can answer. That's been a question we've had come up on those, on that tax sale, on these excess properties here. So I wanted to make sure we're still on the same page for clarification before we told somebody that we'll pay them off, and then we didn't.
I do have a question, Mike. Actually, it would be for Barbara. Is the assessment based on paying off the liens, or is it just
I think the assessment,
value of the property?
and maybe Dan can help us there, was what the assessor felt like the market value of those properties were. And without disclosing that to affect the
Right.
sale, this here is $9,395 in utility lien, sidewalk, curb gutter, all that good stuff. And then there's almost about the same in back taxes. And then I think there's a $2,400 fee that'll be $2,450. That'll be for our offices from past admin fees we've added to it. So I think if it sells for the fair market value, then it will be paying these off,
Okay.
because we wouldn't get the monies anyway.
So it's fair market value didn't include that stuff. It just happens to be that it,
Right,
the
Well, we-
expectation would be that it would pay them off.
right.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree. I think it needs to happen, so.
So I guess, John, do I need we want to respond back. That's been a question that they ask on the cell site. Do we need a motion on that? Or just to clarify that these,
I don't think we need had to turn my button on. I don't think we need official action on it. I think that's the practice that we've always
Yeah.
followed. You take care of any obligations that are on the property to clear up any of those liens.
utility liens specific, no other liens?
Yes, I mean, private liens, no, but when
Correct.
you're dealing with those public liens, that in this instance, yeah, it was assessed to every single parcel in that estate or that construction, it's called the estates, the construction subdivision, that it would be a windfall to then the prior owner to then go to unclaimed property and collect those funds when the prior owner did not clear up the liens
Clear up
beforehand.
the liens, correct.
So, yeah, my office's advice is we clear up all of those public utility liens on the property, make the county and other tax-paying entities whole, as we have in the past, and then if there is any remainder, then sure,
Then
that
that
goes to
goes to
unclaimed
unclaimed.
property.
Are there other liens that, would people be aware of those?
If there
or-
was, they would have, be careful, John, on this, we acquired these properties in a tax sale in 2012, I believe it was. So they've gone past, they're 10 years old,
Okay,
and the tax sale should have cleared all those liens,
okay.
except I know in the prior, without going into detail, there was a prior apartment complex that we sold, the buyer bought them, and Vernal City was still able to exercise their utility liens on those. So this year's money's gonna go in, I'd rather see Vernal City get it.
Well, I just was thinking of disclosure. If we're talking about this and we're telling people, yes, the utility liens, some people don't differentiate. They just say, well, you said there would be no liens on this, but that's
We
up
could,
to them to do
specifically,
the
it's Vernal
title
City's
search.
liens, so. And I do have a copy of them that was provided by this recorder's office, so.
We also don't give, in all of our sales, we don't give legal advice
No.
concerning the
Right.
perfected title or anything on.
These will be transferred by way of quitclaim deed.
Okay.
And we do have bids on these properties. They're not up to the minimum yet, but it hasn't closed yet. Thank you.
Okay. Next item on the agenda is public comment. We'll open that up for 10 minutes, 3 minutes a person if they have anything they'd like to come up and state. If you'd state your name and for the record.
J.C. Brewer. Something went over my head here, which is not hard to do. But what are we outsourcing when we're opening bids on something here titled Financial and Human Capital Management? I don't understand that. What is it? Would somebody explain that to me? What are we outsourcing here that somebody is going to manage for the county?
They're not going to manage for the county. They're going to provide the software that we will use to manage financial services and human resources.
So this is a bid for software.
Yes. And there is some service that is provided because it's a cloud-based system, so it will be maintained, but the systems are what we will be using. The folks that sell it to us or provide that service will also manage the server that it's on and will provide tech support to the county for using that software.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
Tammy Meekum, Concerned Citizens. So on the agenda, why couldn't you just put bid opening for new software? Because that's what it is.
Who wrote it?
You're misleading the public, the employees.
Could you see who the email was from?
Also, I want the public to know that you have had packed meetings before, and the public has asked you not to pass policies, not to pass ordinances, and you guys still do as you please. Last week, you had 4 elected honest officials sitting in the front row asking you not to go out for bids for a new software system, and yet you do. Do you serve the public? Do you serve your employees? And why would you have not just put on the agenda bids for a software system? That's kind of misleading to the public. Like if I would have just read this, I would have not had a clue. And then you're sending bids out for a whole new software system. And last week you had 4 elected officials sitting in the front row asking you not to do a new. You guys seem to do as you please. You don't serve the public. You don't serve your employees.
We actually serve the public.
Well, you've had 2 packed meetings where they've asked you not to pass policies or do a motion on ordinances, and you still pass the motions. Is that not true?
This was actually already out before that meeting.
No, I'm talking about the policies and the ordinances that you pass. You had
What did we
2
pass?
meetings where, I'll get it for you, Bart. I'll give you the recording. You
be
know
good.
you had it. You had people in the audience saying, please don't pass the motion, no motion. I just wish you would serve the public and your employees and not be misleading.
Well,
Willis Lefevre, Uintah County Concerned Citizen. First off, I want to thank you guys for your service. You're obviously very passionate about what you do and your positions. Thank you. We also have a group back here, likewise, extremely passionate. I look around the room, employees, people that I've known for a long time. My concern as a citizen is the environment when I come here each week is freaking toxic. It needs to stop. I'm gonna, as a citizen, please figure out how to sit down with the people and the employees and the county commissioner and elected officials, have a discussion and figure out. It does not serve you well, it does not serve them well, it does not serve the public well, and I ask you to fix it before anything changes, whatever, because it is a terrible, bad, toxic light on Uintah County. So thank you again for your service.
John Larson, citizen of the Uintah County. Gentlemen, I'm also concerned about this financial and human capital management program. I'm not real sure because it's going to the cloud that we really have the security we want. We have another agency or another group that's going to be able to contact our servers and see what we do. I don't think it's a good choice. I think you're fixing something that ain't broke. And they always said that to me. Don't fix it if it ain't broke. You're trying to fix something that isn't broke. Your county officials, the elected officials, and the department heads know how to handle the system they've got. You're probably looking at 6 months once that system gets here for everybody to figure out how to use it. So I recommend and request that you do not pursue this because it's a waste of taxpayers' money. Thank you. All right, duty's up.
Sonia Norton. I just wondered if you could elaborate on what kind of system we have now, so that why you're looking at a new system. That's my only question.
Do you want to take that, or do you want me
Yep.
to?
What we've got is a system that has been around for some time, and it's been modified as the county has grown and responsibilities have grown. I've been in the white-collar world for 40-some years, and I have watched the same kind of process occur. When I first moved from Washington, D.C., we were using desktop computers and moved into a field office, and there were people there that swore, I will never use a computer because that's not how we do business. That's not what I like. That's not what I know. And now you can't separate them from it. The problem that we have is it's uncomfortable. I know it's uncomfortable to change, but it is progress. It is a better system. And I don't think people are they're just resistant to change. But the system we have has two problems. One, it hasn't moved well into the 21st century. And second is the way the system works is we do the programming, but not everybody is continuing to program in these languages. The system will either be obsolete soon or it will be obsolete in a little bit longer term, but it's going to be obsolete. There's nothing wrong with Oracle as a software, but it's not as agile. Part of the problem that I hear from most of these people that are raising complaints is that, well, we want to be able to go up to IT and have them change the program. Well, another analogy, when we first got GIS, we had GIS specialists, and they were the only ones who could do GIS. If you wanted a map, you went to GIS, they would do one for you. Nowadays, everybody coming out of school runs GIS. It's not a hard thing to do. A lot of the concerns I'm hearing are people wanting reports run that are really fairly simple, but they've just never learned how to do it. Under the new system, I really want the younger employees in particular will know how to do this stuff the day they show up. Making queries, building your own reports is easy, but you have to be able to give it a try. If man were meant to fly, he'd have wings. that didn't hold up. Larry, what's his name, that commercial at the Super Bowl about the guy who kept saying, "That'll never work, that'll never work, that'll never work." Do you remember that one? How often was he turned out to be incorrect? So this is really more of a fear of change kind of issue. I do think we will be better served. I know we will be better served in the long run. We've worked with IT on this, on both the how we manage it internally and also what we're moving into. And after some of these things that we encountered with our audits and what have you, we are going to be better situated. We can't do that internally the way we can get it through these services, period. This is technological advancement. That's the best way to put it.
Sorry, I did have a follow-up then, if I could. You said Oracle is the system then that is being used right now?
It is.
I noticed I apparently weren't in the bid. Have they been offered the opportunity to do an update or anything to that?
If we weren't going somewhere else, and if we look at all these bids and we don't see what we like, we can change that as well. But we're also we've considered Microsoft as a change. It's a programming language is all it really comes down to. And then you hire people who can write programs for you. And the way it's been in the county is we've kind of spoon-fed employees with those programmers to give them basically simple reports. They don't, it's in what's called an SQL language, structured query language, and if you know how to ask the question, then you just start with a series of unions and intersections, and out the other end comes your answer. But you have to know how to talk to the computer. Some of the newer things we talked about, well, we may need these reports. I'd be surprised if we have to have any reports written. I think they're there. So if we don't see what we like, then we can still move into the Microsoft environment. It's by far the biggest provider of programming services, but it becomes the same thing. You still have on-site people who will then write in that environment the programs that you want. So every time something changes, we have to have somebody run in and program. And what we're looking to do is come up with something that already has that there if you just know how to ask the question. And there's no reason why our workforce shouldn't become more IT savvy.
Okay, thank you.
Couple of things that I'd like to clarify on that for you too, Sonia, is and Tammy both, is this hasn't been something that's been taken lightly. We actually put this out for bid about 6 months ago, got bids back. It didn't match what we needed. It's been in the public eye. It's been a discussion ongoing for, I would say, over a year. It's not something we're taking lightly. Not going to be held hostage to one employee. Right now, the program has always been written by one, and when that one or two people, and not going to be held hostage by any sole person. This needs to be something that any business can step in and take over the writing and managing the program, because we know accidents happen and stuff happens, and we lose employees, we lose stuff, and to leave that hanging, it put us in a bind the last time somebody left, and it took us a while to get caught up. We need fingerprint inside what's going on so we can actually track what's going on inside the system. There's too many things being moved, changed, altered, that we have to know why and how come it's happening and who did it. There's a lot of those. I mean, my heavens, I don't know if you guys know, this is the warrant that's created from that program. Do you know any other business in town or in the world that uses this green paper anymore? Well, I'm just saying, there's things that we continue to use. I update my cell phone every 2 or 3 years because the technology changes. The space shuttle, everything changes. This county hasn't been upgraded for, what, 20, 30 years.
I don't know.
It needs an upgrade. And so we have transparency on all the things that's going on. We're able to see who is entering in the computer system. We can sit here for an hour and talk about the things that's went wrong with this system. If we want to start throwing out blame and all this kind of stuff, that's not what I'm here for. I want to fix the problems that are occurring, and so it doesn't happen any longer. That's why we're looking at it. We haven't made a decision yet. The bid has been out for 2 or 3 weeks before we had the meeting last week. It's not like we're putting it out after the meeting. So with that being said, go ahead.
Okay. Brenda McDonald, Uintah County Recorder. I spoke with Commissioner Hatch about a month ago, and you talk about being
Commissioner
held
Hatch.
hostage.
Don't know who that is.
Reed Hatch, San Pete County.
Okay.
He said that they were held hostage when their computer system wanted more money. They were shut down at the beginning of the year, cost them $30,000 to get up and running again. And so they were held hostage by a canned program. They have been moving into Tyler, and since they have moved into Tyler, they're back writing in ledgers. I ask you call him and talk to him about what they've gone through. He told me his home, they put that information into the system, and now it shows his house won't be built until 35 because that system took his home's year built, the shop's year built, and added those together. And so everything that they have is all scrambled. He said also that the square footage on his house is now over 5,000 square feet because it added all of that together too. And he said that his clerk's office, his treasurer's office, they are all handwriting everything at this point. So I just ask that you watch that close. Yes, we may have an old system, but that system is updated all the time with the new things that come along. When there's a new law that comes along, they go in, make sure that everything is written according to the law so that we're doing what we need to do. The one thing that works really well for my office is IU Record. And I have to connect an outside source with the banking part of it. And it works very well. I bring in 70% of my work comes through that. And if you start manipulating or bringing in a new program, then we have to try to rewrite everything that's being done in my office also. And the only time we've been able to meet with you was the one time that Mike was able to set up a meeting and we gave you some of our concerns. And I just ask that you listen to us more because we do have some concerns.
Where your
Thank
office, where your office is so involved with that, I'll step out and say, I'd like you involved in the process. I would like you to be in that room and help us see what the systems are.
Okay, thank you.
And I do think we actually are the ones that sent it out for you to look at. The meeting came afterwards, but I remember talking to Tanya and said it needs to get out to look at, so.
I didn't get one. I did get it through the clerk's office.
All right, good public comment today. I appreciate it. We're going to close the public comment, and next item is adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
We're adjourned.